Starting with Poshmark, this is a spirit jersey that was made with some spangly material, some sequin, that silver metallic-y stuff. And it says spirit jersey there, and it says it on the collar as well. Sold for 60 bucks, just a t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt. This is the second of these that I've sold. The other one sold for 45 or 50. This is definitely a bolo. A Lululemon shirt that was covered in pilling, still sold for 22 bucks. That is from the bins, so almost pure profit there. These are a carryover from last summer. I had them in my inventory sitting for longer than they should have, I think just because of seasonality. They finally flipped for 35 bucks. Pelagic is a fishing brand oriented towards deep sea anglers. And really, really nice stuff. Kind of the Lululemon of deep sea fishing, I guess. 35 bucks. Anything pelagic I tend to pick up, whatever it is. And these have sold. I predicted in a previous video that these would sell ahead of most of the other Dahuis that I picked up in that haul. So they did. 19 bucks. I like the Rammstein colorway here. I picked this up at the bins just because of the texture and because it said Portland on it, basically. Bridge and burn. This looks like it would have been worn by the people that I went to college with, and someone bought it for 18 bucks. A Vince Henley short sleeve shirt, had a stain on it there, 18 bucks. Vince is a really decent brand. Some Calvin Klein corduroy jeans, women's jeans. Wouldn't have picked these up unless they were something special. They were corduroys and they were from the bins, so they were basically free, and did flip for 20 bucks, flipped quicker than I thought that they would. I would not advocate picking up Calvin Klein. This was a roll of the dice and I pretty much just got away with it in my own opinion. This is a J. Crew Madras plaid skirt. A button front. It is vintage, size 8. I think it's vintage. Is it vintage? I don't know. 14 bucks. Sold another one of these women's tank tops that I got from a Nike outlet for 7 bucks. Sold it for 22. I was worried about these, that they were just going to sit and sit and sit, but they have started to sell, and sell fairly consistently as well. I think I got a total of 10. We're over to eBay. This new with tags Padres tank top sold for 16 bucks. I don't know that I would spend more than, I don't know, $1 on something like this, but I did get it at the bins and it did sell. Waiting for payment on this one. I've neglected to say in my niche video that role-playing game books are excellent. One of the best, finest categories of book to resell. A couple people in the comments did point that out. This is a supplement for Forgotten Realms, which is a kind of sub-category of Dungeons and Dragons. This looks like 2nd edition to me, showing my hand here. 45 bucks. I don't remember what I got it for, probably 3 or 4. Pair of really basic, kind of beat up, honestly, pair of scrub bottoms from Dickies. Got these at the bins, wouldn't have picked them up at a retail thrift unless they were new with tags, which I've done before. I did that on Dollar Day, got a big cardboard box full of scrubs that were new with tags, like Cherokee and stuff. The brands are kind of here and there, but they've just been slowly selling off ever since. These flipped for 12 bucks, which is okay by me. An instant flip. These flipped for 20 bucks pretty much right away, another bins item. Same with this. This sold pretty much overnight for 17 bucks. Eddie Bauer got it at the bins. You will notice if you can get away with pricing this stuff down this low, it will move fairly quickly. The reason I'm such a pervert for sell-through is because when you source at retail thrifts, it is incumbent upon you to make sure, or at least in my mind it is, that the thing has demand for it. I don't want to spend 7 bucks or 8 or 9 bucks on this Eddie Bauer sweater and then have to price it at like 30 to make a reasonable return, like 25, 30, and then I'll have to sit on it forever. But if you can get it at the bins, even though it's not that desirable, because I can price it close to 15 bucks, which is kind of a sweet spot when it comes to used clothing, it will flip itself fairly quickly. It becomes a quick flipping item. These I picked up at a Goodwill for, I think, more than average. I think these were 10 bucks, and I paid up because they were salvage, and I thought they would sell for over 50. They ended up only selling for 32 and selling after quite a wait. I think I kind of followed a hunch on this one, and it was semi not a good hunch. Still made some money on it. Bins pickup, had this priced at 40, got an offer in my DMs for 30, and I accepted. I don't know why people do that instead of just sending an offer, but I said, yeah, send me an offer, I'll accept, and Accepted. This is a somewhat obscure beer shirt, Rogue Ale Brewery, 20 bucks. I think I got this for standard t-shirt prices, maybe $2 or $3. I did have to sit on it for a little bit. God, this thing finally sold. By the time it sold, it literally had 10,000 views on the listing. I don't know what the deal was. I'm sure it was absolutely tanking my my metrics on my store. But still, finally did sell it for 20 bucks, which is less than it's worth. I just wanted to get it out of the store. I was about to delist it and then relist it because I just didn't want those metrics really hurting me, but it did sell and whatever. I think I got this for $1, so oh well. The reason it took so long is because I sweater shaved a little nick into the collar, which was apparently catastrophic in the eyes of the buyers. The Orvis shirt, I think I sourced about half a year ago, and I found the style code and I found the proper name for it, and that's why it's priced up this high. This one kind of slipped past me. In retrospect, I probably should have just priced it down to 35 and moved it out because I had to sit on it for so long, but still, having neglected to do that, I am happy that it sold for 50 bucks. This is a fishing shirt. Fishing shirts are going to be a hot commodity going into spring and summer. What differentiates a shirt from a fishing shirt? Well, to begin with, it has a fish on it. Not all fishing shirts will have fish or mayflies on them. This kind of fishing shirt will have typically 2 front pockets. A lot of the times they're cargo pockets, really billowy and large, and they will be vented. They'll be caped like this. That's what that is called, this caping. Sometimes there will be a Velcro patch on the back right in the middle so you can kind of undo it. Don't use Velcro anywhere in your listings. Your listing can get you in trouble, say hook and loop or some other euphemism. There's another shot. Even if they weren't designed specifically to be marketed as fishing shirts, if they fit into this mold, I would list them as such because those are really good keywords. Another thing that I've said 100 times on the channel, fishing shirts are a really strong category and really compelling keywords. I use them whenever it's appropriate to do so. I don't stretch too far, but if I think that I can get away with saying that it's a fishing shirt, I'll say it's a fishing shirt. I held out on these for a little longer than I normally do. I had them priced up at 50. I knew that they were gonna flip for around 50. I had a bunch of lowball offers around the $30 mark. And I only got these for 7 or 8, I think, so I could have accepted those and still made money, but I knew I was getting so many offers and so many eyeballs, somebody was gonna pony up and grab it for more. 40 bucks is a nice compromise. Why were these so popular? Because they're Nike SB. That's a fairly popular line of Nike. Nike is a big, complicated brand, like a lot of the really popular big brands are big and complicated. If you want help demystifying those brands and other brands, I put out something called the Menswear Manifesto. It's free if you want to download it for free or pay what you want. So figure out what you think it's worth and give me that. It's 330 brands broken down category by sell-through rate, desirability, and price points with some narrative from me about what to look for, what to avoid based on my own selling experiences and observations of eBay. There's a link to that in the description. Nike SB is one of the strongest sublines of Nike, and because they're cargo pants, I knew that they were going to appeal not just to skateboarders, but to people who want the cargo aesthetic, which is very kind of Y2K, which is very in vogue. Cargo has been popular for at least a year now. Bass Pro Shops. I don't remember what I paid for this. It took a while to sell. Bass Pro, I don't think it's quite as strong as Cabela's. They are technically the same company or owned by the same parent company now. But I think Cabela's sell-through is just a little bit better. I have not checked the metrics on that. That's just a hunch. That could be wrong. But these were, this t-shirt was new. I would not have bought it unless I could get it for really cheap if it was used, because they just are not that expensive. The house brands for Bass Pro and Cabela's are priced way low, even retail. So good stuff to lot up. There are rarer pieces that are popular. I would venture a guess that the hats, the trucker hats for Bass Pro probably have great sell-through because at least fairly recently those were really trendy with kids. Another beer shirt that took too long to sell. This is a Modern Times shirt. These breweries come and go in popularity. This is one that's locally very popular. I don't know if it has that much demand for it. I think I had it priced at like 18 or something, and I must have sent out an offer. I don't recall what I got it for or why this person bought it, but I don't know. The brewery stuff is easy to look up. You can find sales velocity for it. You can get a sense for prices. It's kind of like looking up band tees. This is an Iné de la Fressange Paris Uniqlo dress that I got from the bins. As previously discussed, I'm not super enthusiastic about selling women's clothing, but you kind of have to or should if you source at the bins. And this ended up getting some decent return. I like selling Uniqlo, and Uniqlo also is recommended because they do these collaborations with designers or streetwear brands. You can find Uniqlo times whatever designer pieces that can sell for some pretty good money. I was hoping for better money from this, but 22 bucks for something that I got from the bins is totally fine by me. You can find, I think they're like KAWS, K-A-W-S, which is some sculptor, or he does penguins or something that people think is brilliant, or like figurines, I would assume. Those are worth a lot. Anything KAWS is worth quite a bit of money. And Takahashi, is it Takahashi? There's a Japanese designer that does like Star Wars stuff with Uniqlo. I found a couple times, and those are good. Also, isn't SPRZNY Uniqlo, or am I misremembering? The artist shirts. Look all of this up, please. Skier is apparently like a vintage ski wear brand. I don't know if they're still around. I don't know that much about this brand. The sell-through was pretty good. I don't remember where I got it, what I got it for, probably not that much. Flip for 25. Skipping over some uninteresting sales here to expedite the video. This is the Mack Weldon shirt that was in a previous haul, sold for 22 bucks. It sold early in the season. These usually don't sell all that well until like late spring for me, but Mack Weldon is such a strong brand, I'm not shocked at all that it did sell. It didn't sell for crazy money, but I don't need it to. Kind of the same story here, really desirable piece from a great brand, cool. It had a lot of condition issues with it, that's why it sold for 22 bucks. And it did take a little bit to sell. So these great brands, the big marquee brands that I advocate, are not completely bulletproof. Sometimes they just sit. And I get people commenting on these videos sometimes of like, I have a Patagonia shirt that's been sitting in my store for a year and a half. I don't know what's going on. I have one of those shirts too. Don't be spooked by those kinds of experiences. It just happens sometimes. It has to do with the eBay algorithm, and it just has to do with luck. There might be something that you can correct in the listing, but oftentimes there isn't. Oftentimes the universe just conspires to disappoint you, and you have to just move on from it and understand that some of these are going to be misses. I think I got these at a swap meet, which you may know as a flea market, and look at that. Yeah, it had holes, had some crotchal distressing, and still flipped for 22, which is pretty good for this kind of a pair of pants. Had it been in better condition, I would have gotten definitely more than 30 for these. I had some other fairly bread and butter flips. I will end with this Lululemon tank top that I again got at the bins. It had stains on it, and it still sold for 17 bucks, and it was attached to some local marathon that people ran. Yeah, it's got a stain on it. White pieces tend to have stains. Be very, very circumspect when you source it anywhere. Anticipate that it will have stains because it almost always does. But still 17 bucks for something that I got for next to nothing. Great flip. Had it not been branded like this and had it not had a stain, probably could have gotten more than 25 for it. Hope that this helped give you an idea of what is selling. Godspeed and good luck.